Blog Talk Radio.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to The Balance. My name is Tom Marcusel, Presidente. Happy Leap Day to you. If it's your birthday, happy birthday. Or if it's your anniversary, hey, this is every so often you get to forget your anniversary, right? Well, welcome aboard. My name is Tom Marcusel, Presidente. This is The Balance. We do this thing called The Balance every Saturday morning. And you feel free to listen. You won't catch the coronavirus here. But if you want to have some Coronas with us, we'll go there. Great show lined up today. Mo from the BS. We're gonna play a little switcheroo. And normally Mo ends the show with us, but today he's going to start the show with us. We're going to be talking some March Madness and a little bit of the NFL Combine. And then also coming up, Matthew Embury, our official IndyCar contributor from the BSVT up in South Bend, joins us. Some big news coming out of IndyCar. We're going to talk about IndyCar bracketology with Matthew Embury. So we're going to also get into some March Madness with Mo. But, you know, hey, we just got to keep that theme going. And Steve Wilson's out today because, well, maybe he has the coronavirus or the Everclear virus. We're not sure. Actually, he's just not feeling good, so we just have to give him a pass. Ed Kratz also was here in town in Indianapolis this week, and you probably saw some of our posts on social media and his social media as well with SI.com, our official NFL contributor and beat writer for the Philadelphia Eagles, was in town. And we're going to do a complete recap of the NFL Combine and what does that 45-degree vertical really mean? Does it really mean anything? And then Tony D from Tony Donahue podcast joins us. We're going to continue conversations leading into the March Madness world as that's coming right around, and some more NASCAR talk. So all I can say is stick around. It's about to get good right here on the Balance Radio Network.
The Air National Guard is a reserve component of the United States Air Force and serves alongside active-duty Air Force members in times of a national crisis. In addition, the Air Guard serves the state and local community in a wide range of capacities. The reason people join the Air Guard is as diverse as our members and includes such reasons as a deep desire to serve their country, money for college, travel, new job skills, and the pride that goes along with belonging to the greatest military organization in the world. I joined because I felt a calling to serve my country, but I didn't want to be far away from my family, so the Indiana Air National Guard was a perfect fit for me. With over 95 different career opportunities to choose from and 100% paid college tuition to any state-funded college, why not give us a call? Call 1-800-841-3103 or visit online at goang.com to find out more. Again, that's 1-800-841-3103. The Air National Guard, guarding America, defending freedom.
I can't believe it.
Like we playing 4-on-4 with a barbershop quartet.
Pass the ball, pass the rock. We're open, just pass the ball.
Nah, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico. Yeah.
Shoot the J, shoot the
Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Morning face. You get it when you don't sleep well. This is what happened to Linda.
Morning, guys.
Good morning. Ah! What is that thing?
It's me, Linda.
Oh my God, it talks! Run!
No, it's me, Linda from HR.
It looks hungry! Save the children! Save them! Stay back! I've got mace!
Ow, that went in my eyes.
Quit moving!
It's called beauty sleep for a reason. And there's never been a better time to get some.
Get 20% off IKEA Sultan mattresses. IKEA, love your home.
All right, and welcome back to the Ballast. 917-889-8516 is our digit. Time to kick things off. And Mo from the BS Sports Show, maybe because it's Leap Day, we're doing things a little bit different today. You're starting the show instead of ending the show. So happy Leap Day to you, sir.
Thank you. Happy Leap Day to you, too. That means I won't have to talk to you on this day for another 4 years.
That's right. That's right. You may have heard in my opening dialogue, hey, if you're married, you get an excuse every 3 years to forget your anniversary. So, maybe it's really bad luck to get married on the 29th, but we'll see. I know Ed Kratz is going to be joining us here in just a little bit in the next hour. He's been here in town all week to give us a recap of the NFL Combine, so we don't want to steal a lot of his thunder. But let's talk a little bit about the NFL Combine. And I kind of feel like that the NFL has just tried to make this more than what it is. It's a job interview. A lot of this stuff, there are stuff that's open to the public. I get that, and they kind of did a good job about this. And I hope that they keep it here. Chances are they won't. I think everybody knows it's a foregone conclusion as much as we'd like to keep it. And here's the thing. I think NFL teams would like to keep it here. As you've been here in Indianapolis, it's cold. It's out here. But they never have to go outside, never have to rent a car. It's way more economical than moving it out to L.A., but they're trying to make this more than what it is, if you will. So what are your thoughts about the NFL Combine? It's a very important function for the business model of the NFL. I get that. It's a job interview. It's analyzing your draft prospects. It's very, very important for the teams. But is the NFL trying to monetize something that isn't there? Maybe that's the thought.
Yeah, I think 100% because these guys are all going to come in for individual workouts with these teams and more interviews. So this is pretty much just a place for all these teams, I guess, to see everybody that's invited as opposed to just the guys they want to bring in. So, yeah, obviously I think at this point it's monetized because you have the 40-yard dash, those sponsors that you could have won stuff if you're the fastest guy wearing certain shoes. So it's televised the entire time. But let's be honest, it's quite boring unless you're looking to see a couple of guys, and most of the top guys don't work out anyway. So, it's interesting if you're jonesing for football, but I think, overall it's a pretty boring process unless they start televising the interviews.
Yeah, in which they're not. And a very important part of the Combine is the medical part of it. And that's a very much behind-the-scenes issue. And that's one of the biggest things that teams are looking at. Is this person medically and mentally fit to play on my team? There's a lot of different factors, but it's a big, big job interview. That's what it is. But we look at things that they try to make a big issue. Of course, Burrow was just kind of, he got the white boy syndrome slapped up against his face. He's got the 9-inch hands. He needs to retire. He was making some jokes with that. But that's the thing. We look at how fast they run the 40-yard dash. We look at their hand size. We look at their vertical. You talk about Zion. He had a 45-degree vertical. Man, he'd be one badass tight end in the NFL. How important is that, one, to the fan, and two, how important is that knowledge to the team when they're trying to decide who they're going to draft?
Vertical to me is important if you're a guy who's a wide receiver or a cornerback, maybe a linebacker. But other than that, and the thing with the 40-yard dash, it's great that you can run fast for 40 yards straight, but how often is that really happening in the NFL? Let's be honest. I'd rather see how fast you can run for 15 yards and cut, or how fast is your speed at 20 yards. But because very rarely you run just 40 yards straight down the field. So to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, we've only talked about hand size really in the last, few years, but we've seen guys who've had what have been said to be small hands play pretty well, especially at quarterback. So I don't know. I mean, have you ever measured your hands? Do you know what size they are? I have no clue what size my hands are.
I don't either. I always lie about my hand size, man. I mean, who doesn't? What guy doesn't? We always lie about our hand size. But it is just amazing how we get into those conversations. So we'll get into more of that later on. But what are some of your takeaways from the Combine? We'll get into some more of this with Ed Kratz. But what are some of your takeaways? Because we look at Love, for example, quarterback prospect possibly for the Colts. He didn't have a good showing at the Combine. Does that mean that the Colts turn their back on him? No. But does that hurt his draft standing? Maybe. I don't know. But how important is the Combine to this draft standing, if you will? Because Tua didn't work out hardly at all, but we know he's going to be way up there. But I think a lot of people wonder about Tua. So what are your thoughts? How important is the Combine to the standing of being drafted?
I don't think it's as important as it used to be anymore. Again, all these teams bring these guys in that they like for private workouts. I mean, if you're a quarterback, you're working with a guy you have no chemistry with whatsoever at wide receiver. So, I mean, to me, it's more, I'd rather see what you can do in the individual workouts, when you've gone over the playbook a little bit. So, again, I think, like you said earlier, it's all show. I don't think it really helps or hurts your draft stock unless you bomb the interview or get yourself arrested while you're here or kicked out of the hotel, which we saw some guys do from Ole Miss a few years back. So I think it's more about to see how you act by yourself on a professional level, and then you worry about the other stuff later.
Well, we would be amiss if we did not talk about Tom Brady, since we're in Brady Watch. Some news coming out this week out of the Combine that Brady's open to free agency. I mean, does the Patriots let him go? You would think that they would have something solidified by now if they weren't. So maybe they are going to go ahead and let him go into free agency. So that brings up some questions, and there are questions, and people know this for a fact. They've been talking with the Colts, and amongst a few other teams, obviously. Tom Brady can probably go anywhere that he wants to go, and where his talent might be most utilized. I think what we got to get out of the concept of thinking, well, just because Tom Brady comes to my team doesn't mean we're going to the Super Bowl, doesn't mean we're going to the playoffs. So if you're Tom Brady, how do you go about choosing the best team? And from what I'm understanding, he's kind of liking the Titans, so he would at least be in our division. And so that, again, everything is pointing in the direction that Phillip Rivers comes to Indianapolis. So when we look at Rivers and Brady's, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think I've told you this before. I don't like the decline that Phillip Rivers saw this year versus last year. I think his decision-making was a lot worse. Obviously, some of the arm strength is gone. A ton of interceptions this year. I'm not happy if I'm a Colts fan with Phillip Rivers at this point, unless there's something that they saw that was missing last year. Tom Brady, I think that what fans look at is the fact that he's been successful with very few skill position players over his career. But I think at this point it's going to be what's important to Tom. Is it getting that next Super Bowl? Is it part ownership in a team, which the Dolphins have reportedly offered to him? Is it being reunited with a coach or who used to be a player with him that he's familiar with? You would think Indianapolis would make sense. You play indoors 8 times a year. You play in Florida. You play, in Nashville. So is it about, being comfortable throwing the football? It's going to be at this point what's important to Tom. He pretty much can write his own ticket, I think, at this point anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely, and I totally agree with that. We're talking with Mo from the BS Sports Show. Mo, it's that time of year. We love this time of year. We're getting ready for March Madness. We're going to have our bracket. We're going to have our balanced bracket when all the brackets come out. So if you do